Momentum. How do you lose momentum? More importantly, how do you regain it once you lose it?
America's Positive Pragmatic Bob Goshen.
We want to begin today by writing down 4 precepts that are going to help you with restoring momentum in your organization, whatever it may be. Get a pad and pen and write these down, and then we're going to drill down deeper in a little bit. Here are the 4 precepts: dream or vision, faith, passion, and system. Those 4 equal momentum. If you are losing momentum, we're going to go back and evaluate which one of the 4 are we missing. And when you really were growing in life, no matter what it was, you had those 4 in place. Today, I want to talk to athletes, especially some even you high school athletes. I want to talk to CEOs about this because we all have that challenge, don't we, where we take off with a business or an organization and it takes off and levels off. How about pastors? I'm sure you have the same challenges where you started something and it was going and then it leveled off and then it started to decline. Any leader of any organization, this message is for you because all of us are going to experience losing momentum sometime or another. I want to share with you from my personal archive. What I'm getting ready to share with you is not from a book. It's from something that happened in my life. That's why I can share with you how to lose momentum. I've done that. And more importantly, how to regain it. Many years ago, I had a sports marketing company. I came up with a vision. I came up with an idea. The idea was simply this: what if I traveled around the United States and I went to the top 10 college football teams? What if I went to the specialty coach on each one of those colleges and videotaped them, teaching young men how to do skills and techniques at that position? I mean, what would I do with that if I could put it together? What if I could put together 10 colleges with 10 major coaches? And that was my vision. That was my dream. I got a hold of a friend of mine at that time who I'd platformed with. His name was Lou Holtz. Some of you may have heard of Lou Holtz. If not, he's worth Googling. And Lou at that time had just become the head coach at a little college called Notre Dame. I contacted Lou. I visited with him. I said, Lou, here's my dream. Here's my vision. I want to go out and help young men learn techniques at their key positions and market it back to every college and every high school in America and every parent. I shared with him the whole idea of what I wanted to do. Lou turned around and he said this: Bob, Notre Dame is yours. Folks, that just lit me up. He sent me a letter with a little gold helmet on it, and that's all I needed. Immediately, I got on a jet and flew up to Notre Dame, walked out on that field with him, went to the dressing room with him, looked at some gigantic players that he had. And we took off with this. See, once I decided I had that vision and that dream, we're going to do it. We're going to take off. We're going to do well. Then I had to find a sponsor. Well, I went everywhere. I went to Nike, I went to Spalding, I went to Gator. All of you know what they said? No. No. My secretary, my personal assistant, had a file that she has today that had 23 people that told me, we're not interested in your project. Finally, I heard about a little bottling company in Atlanta. I flew down, went up to the 25th floor of this gigantic place, went into their marketing boardroom where all these people were sitting, and I gave them my presentation. Coca-Cola was their name. Coca-Cola turned around and sponsored that series, and on each one of my tapes, the first 10 seconds were, "These tapes are brought to you by Coca-Cola." So there I had my major colleges. There I had my sponsor. And away I went. Man, we put ads out. We went national. We had television ads on ESPN. We were just blowing and going, man. Things were so swell. And then they leveled off. We lost our momentum. And not only did we lose our momentum, we started to decline a little. Can you feel me? Do you understand? Many of you right now are in that position. You might be a pastor. Man, you had that dream. You had that fire. Things were going. You started building. Everything was going well to you. leveled off, and then you started to decline. I was in direct sales. Matter of fact, it was called Amway in 1975. We joined that business not having any idea really what it was, and it took off. I was 31 years of age, and by age 33, I had found myself in a very nice financial position. We stayed with that company. We were blowing out the door, man. We were great. Things were happening. My wife and I were traveling the world. We were speaking all over the world, literally. Volume was coming in. Matter of fact, we went from 250 million in volume to 1 billion in volume in that period of time. And guess what? It leveled off and even started to decline a little bit. I want to talk to some of you athletes now. I want to share with you, because what I shared with you was, Bob, if that happened to you, how did you regain, or did you regain your momentum? Well, the answer to that is yes. And it was from a hard school of knocks. I had to learn what I'm sharing with you today. I want to talk to you athletes right now. Mom, Dad, if you have some high school athletes, bring them to this camera for a minute. I want to look at them. I want to share with you. I was what you would consider a better than average athlete in high school. I mean, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I was better than average. I lettered all 4 years in high school, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, in all 3 sports. So I loved it. I love sports. I had a passion for sports. I loved football because I loved to hit, and I was a linebacker, and I just loved that. It was amazing. But I had a coach. I wish I could say all coaches are fantastic. But my particular coach, his name was John, used what's known as negative motivation to drive me and the other guys on that team. See, negative motivation is when they're always telling you, you'll never amount to anything. I don't know if you can do it. I don't know if you're capable of doing it. I think you're too short. I think you're too heavy. I think, blah, 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 negative, negative, negative. And that was his way of coaching. Goshen, you'll never make it. You'll never make playing college football. You just don't have what it takes in order to do that. My senior year, I was pretty good. I was all conference, all of those things. And all the college coaches were coming in. They were coming in to look at the films and look at the boys at this particular school, especially from his former college. The reason I know this little story is because one of the student assistants was there. The college coaches would come in and they look through all the film. They look at my film. They said, this kid looks pretty good. And this coach would say, you don't want to touch him. He's got a bad attitude. Well, I'm a linebacker. I should have a bad attitude. No, you got a bad attitude. And plus, are you ready? He's obsessed with this little girl. He's crazy. He's all the time with her. He's all the time talking about her. He's all the time dating her. He just can't keep his mind on football. Well, he was right. I was possessed by this little girl. Matter of fact, Coach, she's been with me 60 years now. She's called my wife. And oh, by the way, Coach, if you remember, you saw it the day that you came to that Division I college when I was playing, and you walked on that field because, you see, that was your old college. And you looked at me and you thought you saw a ghost. But you know what? My motivation was almost stripped. Some of you all are experiencing that. Some of you kids are experiencing that. Don't you allow that. You come above that. You make it happen for you. Don't let someone else determine your internal commitment. It was an amazing trip. Some of you guys are hearing it right now from employers. You have employers or leaders in a company that's putting you down in a negative way. And it just, you know, you're on fire, and all of a sudden you just lose your friggin' momentum. My granddaughters are gifted. I mean, they're really gifted. They're more gifted than I was at that age. I have one in volleyball, which is really becoming quite a sport, and the other one's in cheer. They're amazing athletes, amazing athletes. Matter of fact, I'm going to a game tonight where my daughter will be playing volleyball. But now when I go to games, I watch, I examine, I look. And what I'm looking at is not only my daughter, I'm looking at the coach. I'm seeing how she reacts to the team. I'm looking at how she handles herself. I'm looking to see if she touches those athletes and says, hey, you're doing well. Folks, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here. People will remember your touch. years beyond they'll remember your talk. I sat on a board with a gentleman one time. His name was Bill Marriott. He owns a few hotels, or he did. I mean, he still does, but he's no longer alive. And I was at this committee meeting in Washington, D.C. During a break in the committee meeting, we went out back, and Mr. Marriott was there, and I walked over and asked Mr. Marriott, I said, I got to know, I've got several million air miles, and no matter if I'm in Russia, Budapest, and no matter where I go, I stay at a Marriott, and your hotels are amazing. But here's my question, Mr. Marriott. Your general managers, they are over the top. They are top shelf. How do you select the managers for Marriott? Do you go to colleges for finding the top? Do you take them from other hotels? He said, no, here's my key. Here's what I look for. What kind of relationship do they have with the employees? When I walk into a hotel, if I see the employees running over to that general manager, really excited to see him and him shaking hands or give him a hug or whatever, that's a keeper. You see, coach, pastor, employer, you and I control a lot of this momentum. Every business I've started, and I'm now, have several that I started, plateaued. Every one. I don't care how great they were, they plateaued. Majority of them regained. I mean, even like my Amway business, it leveled off at $1 billion a year and then ended up doing $1 billion a month. But there was a time of plateau. That time of plateau and the time of decline is when you determine what you're made of. But every business has done that with me. Now I'm going to share with you, if you'll allow me here in a short order, the 4 precepts that we talked about that I believe has helped me. I don't believe it. I know they've helped me. They help me today, no matter what venture I'm starting, of building and maintaining momentum. Number 1, what's your vision? You see, let's go again to a CEO. I remember a company not too long ago we started and we got together, and it all starts with a vision. You have to have a vision for where you want to go. I call it a dream. People used to laugh at me when we got into some trouble and I was known as a dreamer. I'm a dreamer today. I don't care what the situation is. I'm going to go out and dream. I'm going to be thinking about things. I'm going to be thinking about people. How can I serve them better? I'm going to be thinking about how can I do this a little bit better? That dream. Martin Luther King didn't stand on the steps in Washington, D.C. and say, I have a strategic plan. No. He said, I have a dream, a vision. See, right now, if you've lost momentum, or if you're losing momentum, I would say, where's that vision? You guys remember, I don't care if you're an athlete, I don't care if you're a pastor, I don't care if you're a CEO, I don't care if you're a leader of a major organization. It took off because of your vision, your dream, where you were going. And it also took off, and it will stay strong if you will start using affirmations to keep it strong. I remember, when we started that thing called Amway. We sold that business 10 years after we were in, but when I first got in, we weren't broke. We were just kind of broke. And so I would go in the shower. It's funny today. I would go in the shower in this house we had out in Oklahoma, in Broken Arrow, as a matter of fact, for some of you guys that are watching this. And I'd go in that shower and I'd just start screaming as loud as I could. I'm the fastest growing distributor in Amway. Nobody's growing any faster than I am. And my dog would come up and he would look up like, he's on drugs. Man, that was my affirmation. It was my affirmation when I started Coach's Video Network. We will have the largest, nicest organization for young men to see video in this nation, which we did. What's your affirmation? If you're a young lady right now in volleyball, I am a killer. When I go in the air, I spike that ball, girls go, ah! and shriek. When I start and I serve that ball, it's too hot to handle. The girl's going, still. What's your affirmation? I got a little gal that's a cheerleader. You ought to see my backflips. They are amazing. Matter of fact, they are. But you need to start saying that over and over. You say, well, that sounds a little cocky. No, if neuroplasticity says that we can rebuild and renew and regenerate this mind if we say it enough times, if we reroute the thinking, the pathways. So you got to move from the subconscious to the conscious. I don't understand how it works. I know that it works. So if you're a pastor, how about this one? Every message I share is vibrant. Every message I share connects with the people. More people are knowing Jesus Christ as a result of my message being brought to me through the power of the Spirit. Affirmations. See, when you were building, think with me, no matter who you are, when you were building, when you had that fire, you had that vision. You had that dream. You knew where you were going. 2, from there you have to have faith. Let's go again with my wife. Believing something is so when it's not so it can be so. You have to really believe that you're going to succeed in no matter what venture you're going. I don't care what it is. Is it because I'm saying so? It's because I've done it. I believe it. I understand it. I have failed on some ventures. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be arrogant and say, oh, man, I'm a hero. I failed. But when I failed, I went back and I've either dropped the vision or I've dropped my faith. Faith is so important, knowing and believing that things are going to work for you. You know, Noah, I don't know if y'all realize this, but he built a little boat. That thing was amazing. I laugh today. I think about this. God, Noah, there's going to be a major storm. We're going to have rain. You're going to flood. The earth's going to flood. You need to build a boat. And Noah goes, okay. Now, Noah's never seen rain because it never rained. He didn't know anything about water. He wasn't near the ocean. He just believed that he had to do that and created that belief within him. That's faith. Faith is when some of you today were out in your car and you drove 6 feet from another car doing 80 miles an hour coming the other direction, and you lived. They were not on their cell phone. Faith is when I came here and sat in this chair and it actually held me. That's faith. Next major precept is one word, real simple. Don't hope that you're going to grow. Expect growth. Expect growth. Sometimes I'll might be counseling with a couple, Kay and I, or we did many years ago. And either the gal or the guy would say, man, I hope our marriage works. I've heard businessmen and women, man, I hope I can pull this out. Man, I hope my finances come together. Man, I hope. Try this little drill. Change the word hope to expect and feel the adrenaline when you say this. I expect my business to win. I expect my marriage to blossom. I expect my church to grow. I expect my business to expand. You just feel the energy. Expectations take away defaults. See, if I hope, I can always come back and say, well, I knew that would never happen when I failed. But if I expect, that's a commitment. And that commitment is much stronger than just hope. Passion. That's number 3. Number 3. Passion. I don't know really how to go with this other than, do you remember the passion you had when you first met your girlfriend, your wife, whatever the case may be, the one you love? Whew, man. Passion. I mean, I couldn't go to bed without thinking about her. When I was in bed, I'd think about her. I'd get up, I'd think about her. I'd have to call her. I would have to send her a note. Passion. When I was in athletics, passion. I have to get out there. I've got to succeed. I've got to win. Passion. Passion is so key. Now, I'm going to give you 5 characteristics that I wrote down here that I found to be people that are highly passionate. Let's see how many of these you can check a green mark by. Okay, number 1, they go all out. Whether it's athletics, whether you're head of a church, whether you're head of an organization, I don't care what it is, CEO, those that are passionate are going all out. They're going 199%. Number 2, they feel happy about what they're seeing. They feel accomplished. Number 3, they don't mind hard work. If you're passionate, you don't mind hard work. You feel the urge, number 4, of constantly pushing yourself. You've got to make it happen. You will make it happen. With God's help, it will happen. And 5, they gain a sense of achievement and purpose. That's passion. That's what we're talking about. And then last, system. So you can have those other characteristics. You can have faith, you can have a dream, you can have passion. But what's your system? If you don't have a system in place, then you can't drive the action needed to grow or to make something happen. I've shared the story of the Navy SEAL in the last segment, I think, about how they lay out a mission and they lay out the action steps they have to take in order to complete the mission. And then they lay out all the steps that's going to deter them from getting those action steps and making them happen. And then they write down everything they're going to do to overcome those negative forces that come after them. What's your plan? What's your plan to move forward? One area in leadership is what I call anticipatory planning. Wayne Gretzky, he was a major hockey player. I'm not real astute on hockey, honestly, but I like to turn on the TV and watch hockey to see them fight more than playing hockey. Wayne Gretzky, they asked him one time, what is the key to your success? And then he said, now listen to this. He said, I don't skate to the puck. I skate to where the puck is going next. Anticipatory leadership, anticipatory planning. Every day you anticipate, what if this happens? How can I change? How can I overcome? How can I keep this momentum going? Folks, if you've lost your momentum, review those 4 steps. Go back. I'm going to ask you, which one have you lost? If I ask you right now, what is your vision? My son right now is starting a new company here. What's the vision? What is your vision? What is it that you see that is so vivid in your mind about this business that you're starting? Do you have the faith? Do you have the faith to step out and believe it to be so when it's not so? When business may not be coming in, and when I had a computing company, there was times business didn't come in, folks. I still had to have that faith, believing that it was going to work, okay? And do you have that drive? Do you have that passion? Do you really feel good about yourself when you're doing things related to that vision? And what's your system? What's your system? I know his system right now, and is social marketing. Why not? That's where everybody is. What are they? When you lose one of those 4 steps, you will go into a decline. And then the question is, how soon can you recognize what's happened, and how soon can you get back to those 4 steps? So today, let's take an inventory. What's your vision? Where's your faith? Where's your passion? And what's your system? Put those together, and you will regain the momentum that you have lost, or you will get the momentum you need starting a new venture. It's been great being with you today. I want you to remember this. The words that I said earlier, people will remember your touch longer than they'll remember a talk.